Speaking of deception, your regularly scheduled update on white women pretending to be ethnic. This from the New York Post. A progressive activist, Raquel Evita Saraswati. She is a Muslim progressive activist. She is an Arab woman. She is a Latina. She has made this ethnic identity part of her activism for 20 years. And it turns out, you're going to be shocked to hear this, she's just a regular white lady. Raquel Evita Saraswati, 39 years old, was just outed by The Intercept for pretending to be South Asian, Latina, and Arab. She spoke to Boston.com in 2004 about her upcoming wedding, saying she wanted to do something to respect her Arab and Latin culture. Actually, her name is Rachel Elizabeth Seidel. She's referred to in that article as Raquel Evita Seidel. I guess she's dropped the Seidel. Now she's Saraswati. And her mother, Carol Peroni, says that it's all BS and her family is white as the driven snow. I call her Rachel. I don't know why she's doing what she's doing. I'm as white as the driven snow, and so is she. I'm German and British. Her father was Calabrese Italian, which, to be fair, is a racially liminal group of people. I happen to be Calabrese as well. She's chosen to live a lie, and I find that very, very sad. What is Saraswati's job? Do you think she's a truck driver? No. Do you think she's an electrician? No. She is, of course, the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer of a Philadelphia-based group, the American Friends Service Committee, which is a leftist Quaker group that fights violence, inequality, and oppression. She's the latest Rachel Dolezal, but there have been many Rachel Dolezals since then. Lots of white women, usually women, pretend to be other ethnic groups. Why is that? Because Exhibit Z, exhibit number 10,576, that white privilege does not exist. It does not exist, certainly as our culture pretends that it exists. You don't get special social points for being white. In fact, white people are the only group in our culture that one can legally discriminate against and socially insult, exclude, ostracize, where it's actually encouraged by our culture to attack white people. And so, white people are pretending to be other races. It's just basic incentives. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. You don't see many, if any, black people pretending to be white people. You don't see many Arab people or Middle Eastern people pretending to be white people. In fact, in the US Census, Arab and Middle Eastern people used to be classified as white. Then there was a movement over the last 10 years to reclassify that group as Middle Eastern and North African, MENA. Linda Sarsour, the leftist activist, was one of the people pushing this. Why was she pushing this? If there were a privilege associated with being white, don't you think that the people who were already lumped in as being white would want to remain white? They're not doing that, though. Why? Because being white is the only group with which there is not a social privilege associated. So they're trying to be some other group. And yet, if you went out and you polled 100 people on the street in New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Washington, D.C., if you polled any CNN watchers, so I guess you'd have to go to the airport for that, and you said, hey, which group is the most socially privileged? You would hear a lot of people say, oh, it's white people. It's white people. It's the opposite of reality. So often, we can just be hypnotized by the popular culture. But this is the proof that it's all BS. Speaking